Pretty beautiful Sunday in February. Gonna take a little hike with the dogs. Do something we haven't done in a while, which is do a little vlog. Yep. Stay. Ready? Go. It's like 32 degrees out right now. It's not too bad. I'd like to introduce myself. I am Jake Rowe. I live in my hometown of Dubuque, Iowa. I own a bar called The Dungeon. I also own some rental properties. I have one portfolio with my own investment properties, and then I have another portfolio with a silent money partner. And then I also own a property maintenance company and I guess maintenance and repairs called Wise Guys Maintenance and Repairs. So that's kind of the gist of my life. At this point, I pretty much somehow, some way, every aspect of my life is somehow related to business, other than like my dogs and my personal relationships. But outside of that, I pretty much just kind of run those. I have a team of people that help me. I have staff at the bar, and I have, people on Wise Guys payroll that help me with remodels, or did, and they help me with like my rentals and stuff like that. But yeah, that's like the gist of my life. How I got into all of that is about, let's see, it's 2026 now, so in 2017 I bought the house that I live in from my grandma. She loaned me the whatever 5% or 6% that I needed down to buy the house from her. And so yeah, that worked out. And then I paid her like, I don't know, 25 bucks or 50 bucks every paycheck for like 4 or 5 years or something like that. And then I think one Christmas she just told me it was paid off and good to go, so it worked out. I was 22 years old when that happened. I'm 31 right now. I'll be 32 in April, so 9 years. I'll be there, or 9 years I've been there in January. That kind of kicked off the real estate thing. I got a roommate. Kind of did what's called house hacking. You buy a house and then you find some roommates to live in the open rooms, and then eventually, half your mortgage is paid or whatever. That's how it worked out with me, at least. And then me and a buddy who also owned a house decided we wanted to get into real estate, and we ended up borrowing, I think $20,000 or something like that from his mom to buy a house that was for sale. So he negotiated the deal, borrowed the money from his mom, and bought this house over by one of the colleges here in town. And then we ended up renting it back to her at like a discounted price, quote unquote, to quote pay her back I guess if you want to say. And then he ended up wanting to move to Vegas, so he started talking about that. But before that happened, I think we sold the house back to her because it just made sense to do so. And then the house that he owned, me and him started an LLC together, and then I think that LLC bought his house from him for, I forget what price. And honestly, I forget how that happened. But then in the long run, what ended up happening was I started my own company called Tri-State Rentals, which bought the house on a land contract from that company that me and him had, and then he moved to Las Vegas. So we're still in touch. He's like one of my best friends. I'm going out to his wedding here in a couple weeks. Come here. Bison's coming. Beef's taking a shit. Bison, come here. Beef, here. Bison, heel. Heel. Hey, heel. So yeah, I ended up, hey, get back here, little shits. I ended up buying the house in the long run. That was like my first official, quote, rental property on my own. Me and him tried to do the rental thing. I don't know, the tenants he got didn't really work out. Then, yeah, after that, let's see, so that would have been like 2018, 2019, 2018, I think, something like that. And then after that, what did I do? Bison, come here. Bison. You need to stay where I can see you. Hey. Stay where I can see you, you little shits. Hey. Should have brought the fucking shot collar. This thing works wonders when it works. I think after that, I bought another house down the street from the one I was just talking about with my grandparents. This was like a year later, a year and a half later. So yeah, that first one I talked about was in 2018. And then the next one was in like 2019, I think, 2020. Something like that. But I bought a house with my grandparents. But I knew, hey, I was gonna need a bunch of work because I had been on the street long enough that I knew what was up with the house. I'm pretty sure drugs were getting cooked in the house or something like that, and there was a fire like a long time before I took over, because what we ended up doing is my grandparents bought the house. Beef, Bison, come here. We're gonna go this way. People up there. And here to leash you. Anyways, my grandparents ended up buying the house in their name, putting their money into it. And what we did was essentially we gutted one of the rooms upstairs that was the bathroom, and it was like this weird funky layout. So we opened up a wall that was non-structural and made a giant bathroom, put a washer and dryer set up there. So there's like a drain, there's water lines, there's electrical for both. I think we just put an electric dryer in there. Ran the 220. Ran the vent out the side of the house because it was right there. And then fully gutted main floor because it was like a bunch of old paneling. And if I remember correctly, there was no insulation or anything under or behind that paneling, so it got pretty cold in there. So we tore everything off, put new windows in the whole place, redid pretty much all the electrical, all of the plumbing, new drywall on the main floor, new hardwood floors. Well, it was like LVP, not hardwood, on the main floor. And then me and my dad carpeted the second floor. And then we just did that rollout linoleum stuff in the bathroom. Painted everything, did all new trim, put new cabinets and countertops in. I mean, it was a brand new house when we did it. And then after that, I went to the bank, got a loan for, I think like $93,000 or $94,000, because that's what my grandparents had into it. And then, yeah, bought them out, gave them a check. And I was able to do that because the house appraised at like 125 or 130 or something like that. So the bank was able to see like 75 or 70% loan to value. They took that as my quote down payment and gave me the loan because there was already meat on the bone for them. And yeah, it worked out. And then, let's see, after that, about a year and a half or two after that, so yeah, it would have been 2 years because this was August of 2022 we're into now, which was a pretty life-changing year for me. It started out as just a pretty normal year. I turned 28 years old, and July 2nd, 2022, I came home after a shift at the bar, the Dungeon. I'd been working there as the manager and bartender for a little bit since like February of 2022 that year. Anyways, came home from a shift at the bar, and I found my roommate at the time, who was also like my childhood best friend. We met when we were in kindergarten. He had shot himself in the head with his AR-15 in my backyard shed. So yeah, I came home to that. I won't get into the gory details, but I mean, you can imagine how it was. For me, you can imagine what it looked like. Pretty life-changing moment. But anyways, I ended up calling the cops. They had officers there in like 20 seconds. That all happened at like 8:30, so by like 9 o'clock to like midnight, there was probably like 10 or 15 cops at my house. You know, examiners, detectives, stuff like that. They cleaned it up as good as they could. This was on, like I said, July 2nd, so July 3rd was the day of the fireworks with everybody in town. So I walked out there, they had missed some stuff, I cleaned it up with some bleach and everything. That's a whole different story, I won't get into it. But yeah, that happened in July. Again, pretty fucking life-changing moment. And then August, I bought a third house on the same street that my other two were on. Holy shit, there's like a fuck ton of icebergs out here. I wonder if that's safe to go on. If you look out, there's like a bunch of icebergs out there, probably from the river flowing. It's probably not safe to go on, but I really want to. might have gone on already. Gotta be careful. I weigh fucking 200 pounds now. Hey, you should probably not be on the ice. Got my selfie moment done. So August, that happened in July. August of that year, I bought a third house on the same street that the first two were on that needed a shit ton of work. The same thing, the way I negotiated that with the bank is I had already owned the house that it was attached to. It's like two separate buildings, but they share a roof. And the side that I bought this time, the third one, needed a roof because it was leaking. He kept trying to get me to pay for half of it when my side didn't leak. So eventually I just told him, I was like, why don't I just solve kind of everybody's problems here? Because my problem was I was having to give him, my tenants were having to give him money for the water bill every month because the water came in on that side and there's only 1 meter, and I already owned the other side as a rental. So I said, why don't I solve everybody's problems here, and instead of paying for half of your roof repair, I'll just buy your house from you, you know, whatever. I knew he wanted to give it to his daughter because she was living there, and you know, but they even wanted to get out, so we negotiated a price. I think he said he wanted like 90,000. I was like, there's no way. I know what it needs to get caught up to be able to like rent or make habitable. So I offered him 45. I think he came back at like 75. And I think we negotiated at like 60,000 or something like that. I'm not quite sure, it was a while ago, but it was around that I wrote a check. So I just wrote a check for that. The bank gave me a loan for $100,000 with me assuming, or predicting, I guess is a better word, that this house would be worth $125,000 or $130,000 after we did what I planned on doing to it. So I got a loan for $100,000. I wrote a check for 60 to just acquire the house. And the first thing I did was put a new roof on, which was $15,000. But it was good for both property I already owned and this new property. So I got a new roof, and then the new property was, I don't know how to describe it without you seeing it, but like you walked upstairs and there was like a little 6 by 8 foot room with no windows, no nothing, and it locked from the outside. So you can only imagine what the fuck was going on in that room. But the other rooms were just like, you went into a bedroom, and then through that was another bedroom, and then through that was another bedroom, and then there was like another little room off of that. So it was just like a bunch of conjoined rooms. And there was like 5 or 6 people living in this house. So I'm like, you guys are fucking weird. Like, that doesn't work. Parents and kids and shit, all just in one room, that's fucking weird. But anyways, so we ended up walling one of those rooms off and essentially made it so there's 2 bedrooms in the place with 1 bathroom upstairs. And then one of the bedrooms is just very large. And then the other bedroom is like 2 rooms. You walk into the room and then there's another room through that. Right now, I think the tenant has like his bedroom in the far back one. And the first room is his like gaming setup. And then there's laundry on the main floor. We redid the kitchen, put all new floors in the place, carpeted the upstairs and the stairs. We redid the ballast and the handrail coming down the stairs with some like custom quick carpentry. I don't know, I was young. It looks good enough to rent, I guess. And then yeah, got new appliances, plumbed it and wired it for the laundry, brand new plumbing for the shower. We tiled the shower, redid the bathroom upstairs. Again, pretty much brand new house. And then I actually ended up renting it to one of the guys that was working for me at that time, and ended up working out. So I gave him a discount because I was like, you know, you work for me, you also rent for me. It's kind of this catch-22 because you pay me rent, but you also rely on me for the income to be able to pay rent. So I gave him a discount on rent discount, charged him $1,100. Him and his buddy in a unit that I could probably get like $1,300 or $1,400 for now in today's economy, but whatever, they get $1,200 now. It works out. So yeah, that was 3 rental properties in about 4 years. And then in September of that year that I bought the house, so it was July, my best friend died by suicide. August, I bought a rental property, that was my 3rd one. September of 2022, I bought the dungeon. Are they coming this way or going that way? I bought the dungeon, which I have now owned for 3.5 years. So from 2022 to 2025, October of those years, I had a partner. She was an older woman. You know, we did good, we turned it around, got it to where it was at now. And then, I don't know, both kind of decided it was time for her to go. And yeah, I took over October of 2025. It's now February of 2026, so come here. Hey, come here. Beef, bison, come here. Beef and bison, come here. I'm gonna get past these people. What do you have to say to the camp, my boys? So yeah, that was like about 3 years or so. Come on. Going to the truck, so that'll be vlog number 1. So it's about 2018 to 2022 of my life. Yeah, well, if you wouldn't fucking try to pull me everywhere and you learned how to walk, maybe I wouldn't step on you. Stop. Sit. Sit. Ready. Go. talk about the years after that, getting into the bar, 2 houses I bought after all of that with a silent money partner. Yeah, the bar partnership, other things, my house, that's a never-ending project. So thanks for watching. Of course, subscribe if you like the content you see on the page. We'll see you next time.